All right, welcome back to the Are You in the Book podcast. My name is Eric Wilbenaw, the president of the Baseball Bluebook, and today we are excited to have Coach Brett Kaminski with us at Roanoke College. Coach, welcome to the program. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having us.
Well, I appreciate you joining us. Before we begin, I want to encourage everyone to subscribe to our channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit subscribe, like. It really helps us out. If you're listening to this on the audio podcast via Apple or Spotify, we ask the same thing. Please subscribe. You'll get notified every Wednesday we release. And so we've got a whole line of great coaches in store for you going to the end of the year into 2025. Coach Szymanski, excited to hear about your program, hear a little bit about you. Why don't you go ahead and do a quick introduction, and we'll get this thing going.
Yeah, I'm Brett Kaminski, head baseball coach, Roanoke College, Roanoke, Virginia, NCAA Division III program, playing the ODAC, the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. A little bit about me. So originally from Tampa, Florida, so a little ways from home. Grew up in Hillsborough County, played high school ball in Tampa. Played some junior college baseball in Tampa at Hillsborough Community College, and then transferred to NAIA Weber International University. Finished out my playing career there, and got right into coaching. Was very fortunate enough to get hired on as a grad assistant coach, and again got both my degrees there. And man, those guys, I owe them everything. You know, I've had a lot of really good mentors and coaches that helped me out at Weber, starting with now the athletic director, Brad Neathammer. He was the head coach when I was there, and now Colin Martin has taken over. Again, they're top 5 NAI program in the country. Awesome dudes. Those guys are pro guys, you know, and learned a ton from Colin, from Coach Hammer, and under Coach Martin. Matt Saliba, he's the National Assistant of the Year a couple of years ago. He's a recruiting coordinator down at Weber. The pitching guy at Weber, when I was down there, Andy Polk, he's another mentor of mine. You know, these guys, all those guys pushed us as GAs, you know, and kind of sparked my interest and love for college coaching, and especially kind of the recruiting. I think that's kind of something that's really stuck with me. Just really like to dive into the recruiting, even as a head coach. So really enjoy that. So those guys, again, giving me my opportunity early on, getting into it. Took a little bit of a detour. So once the pandemic hit, took a volunteer job up at D2 Tiffin University in Northwest Ohio. Did a year up there under Coach Joe Wilkins. He's still there, runs a great program. Was very fortunate to kind of get out of the state for the first time in my life. I think that was probably the toughest transition for me. Again, I think I always joke. I think I bought my first Carhartt jacket, my first winter jacket when I finally got out of the state. All I had was T-shirt and shorts. So did a year up there, and actually the head coach at Tiffin, Joe Wilkins, he knew at the time the pitching coach down at Ferrum College, another mentor of mine, Chip Schaffner, and so they crossed paths during their times up in Ohio, and applied for the job down at Ferrum, his first full-time, assistant gig, and I was lucky enough to get hired on, and Ryan Brittle hired me, and did 3 years there. Kind of took the recruiting side, coach first base, did the recruiting stuff, worked with hitters, outfielders, kind of really was able to, for the first time in my coaching career, was really, finally able to dive into the kind of the day-to-day stuff, which I think I missed, because as a grad assistant, I was able to do it as well. But again, I think the toughest thing as a younger coach is that finding that first full-time gig, coming out of grad school, if that's the route that you go. And was fortunate enough to do 3 years at Ferrum. There was a change at the top as a head coach. They brought in a new head coach, so I was looking for a job this past summer. It was crazy. I was unemployed for a number of months, and actually got on at Radford University for about 5 minutes. No, it was about a month. So I was at Radford University as their third assistant under AG, Coach Guerra. He gave me my first opportunity at Division I baseball, and I was pumped, man. I was very fortunate. During that time, I had obviously had applied for the Roanoke gig. They kind of knew who I was being in the league. it was me and a handful of other candidates, and just took a while. I mean, it was end of July, early August, and finally got a phone call, and here we are. So that was kind of the journey in a nutshell, and it's been great.
That's awesome.
My wife and I, we love it here. Very fortunate. My wife's actually the head cheerleading coach here at Roanoke College as well. So it all kind of fell into place.
That's great.
Everything happened for a reason, and again, very fortunate for everybody that's helped us. And I think the biggest thing is, like, you don't get somewhere. Doesn't matter what level, what role, you don't get somewhere by yourself. I think I learned that pretty early on. From the staff at Weber to everywhere you go, you have stops that guys are helping you out. First and foremost, I mean, your family. My wife, my daughter, and obviously my parents and two brothers. Just everybody pushing me and supporting me along the way. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. I was reading your the quote from AG at Radford. You can't get better than that. I've had him on the podcast as well. What a good dude. Weber, good place. A lot of such great people. I mean, one of the things that I was sitting there thinking about as you're rambling off all these guys, I swear every coach I interview, the list of their mentors, the people that they want to thank, it's a list that typically has no end. And that's one of the things that I find about baseball that's so intriguing and exciting is the camaraderie, the bonds within the coaching organizations. I was on with Sheets over at Georgia Gwinnett, and he actually finally invited me into the fraternity of coaches. So I'm back. I backdoored into it. So being part of this, it's pretty cool. And talking with you guys, one of the things I like to always hear from coaches is, you found all these great opportunities, leaving the state for the first time, all of a sudden ending up in Virginia. What is your passion behind coaching? I mean, I don't want to. It's not just the players. It's not the game. We all know those things. What is the thing that makes you wake up excited every day about what you're doing?
sure, yeah. I mean, I think just the overall love for the game. First of all, I don't think you get into it unless you really love the game, because I mean, it's a long season. At every level, it's a very long season. But again, kind of going back to as a GA at Weber, just kind of being lowest on the totem pole, but was given some responsibility and some trust to go out and look at guys and recruit and follow up. And that was kind of something, for whatever reason, that I've really enjoyed. I thought that it was really cool to see the guys that you go and you're constantly in touch with, and you go out and see play and evaluate that. That's the that's your livelihood. Your players are what you have to coach, and obviously the better players that you can get, probably you're going to be a better coach, right? So I think just the passion is constantly able to build what you have. You have you're the GM basically. You're able to go out and you're able to sign guys. And I think for me, again, for whatever reason, I really enjoy that. So.
I'm glad you brought that up as something that you really excites you from a head coach perspective. The recruiting. A lot of people are bringing in recruiting coordinators and offloading what the coach does. I'm assuming that that's something that you're probably hang on to, being one of the passions. With that being said, what are some of the things that, as you've moved through this, and really the podcast, a lot of players, a lot of parents, but we also have a lot of coaches that are listening to these as well. What are some of the things that, when you became a head coach, you were like, wow, okay, maybe I should have listened a little bit more when I was a GA or an assistant? What are some of the things that were the real eye openers for you when you became the head coach and really responsible for steering the ship in the direction you want it to go?
So yeah, I mean, some of those mentors, like I know, like Colin Martin down at Weber, he was telling me, like, I mean, 90% of coaching has nothing to do nothing to do with coaching, right? It's like that other 10% is on the field, 90% is all the day to day stuff. I mean, you got to be an academic advisor, at times an admissions counselor, financial aid counselor. I mean, you got to deal with, we've got a great group, and again, knock on wood, we haven't had too many problems. But I mean, you got to deal with, the disciplinary stuff, stuff that pops up, guys that you got to get them back on track for whatever reason it is. So just you're kind of dealing with this stuff behind the scenes. I think gotten to hang. I think I was worried about like the scheduling piece and the travel piece, but a lot of that's it's kind of similar to recruiting. Like as long as you're staying on top of it and
Right.
staying in touch with the people that you need to stay in touch with, consistently, then it's not a huge deal. So I think a lot of that stuff in your mind as you go in there first year, it's like a lot bigger than what it is. Um, but yeah, I mean, just you got to deal with the bad stuff, right? So it's not always good, especially in the fall. You got some new faces and things like that.
Right.
So you just kind of, you know, trying to toe that line. You want to be stern with guys, and when to jump guys, and when to kind of pat them on the back. So I think that's the biggest adjustment for us at least.
That's good. That's a good segue into kind of the philosophy that you bring to the program. I've had a number of coaches on. We talk about building culture and the program and kind of the baseline or the foundation of what you're doing. What is your kind of your foundation? What is your principles? What if someone was to say, Kaminski, this is what he is. What would that be?
Yeah, I mean, just we want guys that I know it's cliche, but just really want to just get work done and work their butts off. I mean, it's just like I said before. I mean, it's a long season, even at our level. And I mean, if you don't truly love it and truly really want to get after it, it's not going to be. I joke you're going to be looking at you'll be a guy, one of the 4,000, 5,000 guys in the portal come wintertime, or summertime. So yeah, I mean, we recruit guys, and again, it goes back to recruiting. It's another part of that. It's like, a lot of that stuff can be ironed out during the recruiting process. So you talk about bringing in really good players.
Yeah.
That's easy. Anyone can show up to a field and see who can play. But you got to pull every layer of the onion back and kind of see like, okay, how's he in the classroom? How's he as a teammate? How does he treat his parents? And those are things at our level. Again, we're not given right athletic scholarship money, but there is some of that goes on. You're talking to coaches, you're talking to even teammates and travel coaches, high school coaches, and I mean, I think if you can bring in the guys with the character, that have had some success on the field, whether it's winning or individually. I mean, I think as a unit, you'll be over the course of 4 consecutive years of recruiting. I mean, you're going to have a program that you can kind of hang your hat on and really really enjoy. So
Yeah.
then obviously like the stuff how you go about your business. For us, our staff. I mean, you can't do it without really good assistant coaches. So, like my assistant coach, I do have a recruiting coordinator, Matt Woj. He's an alum. Pitching coach Mitch Custer, and another assistant coach Dave Christensen. And those guys, I mean, you can't do it without a really good staff. We're fortunate to have four coaches. So when we break up into defensive work, we've got a guy that covering each position and positional group, and it's been very great. But again, you can't do it without guys you can trust. And you can't do it without guys that really have your back. So
That's awesome. No, that's great. One of the things, recruiting. You talked about recruiting and the things that you can metrics and stats and the part of the game side. You can get caught up on that a lot and miss a lot of maybe the warning signs of building a program. Right, there's certain type of kids that you're trying to build and trying to surround yourself with and build this program on. What are some of the things? And I always ask coaches this, back to the parents and the players. What are some things that if you were sitting down with the 12, 13-year-old kids today, what are some of the things that you would recommend they focus on? Obviously, baseball. We know that.
Sure.
You don't need to get into the hitting and how you're going to do this. What are some of those intangible things that you can't see on a stat sheet?
Get in the weight room, man. I mean, get in the weight room as early as you can. I mean, seriously, it sounds funny, but I think there's so many, organizations and guys are playing, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80 games a year at a super young age. And I mean, it is a time and a place. I think you got to play the game to learn it and everything. But I think it's gotten to a point, especially, again, where I was from down in Florida. I mean, these guys, and I was one of them. You played baseball year round, and
Right.
I think you lose some of that. I mean, play multiple sports, get in the weight room. I spend the money instead of spending the money on a travel organization early on. Like, go spend the money on a strength and conditioning coach. Get yourself in the best possible shape you can. And typically that's strength. typically as you're through like the middle school and early high school age, because it's getting tougher and tougher to get into college baseball as a high school guy.
Yep.
If you want to go into a 4-year program as a freshman at any level, it's very, very difficult to be, one of the starting 9 guys. Again, with what the portal has done, and Division One baseball going down to 34-man roster. I mean, it's tough. I feel for the high school guys. So I mean, what are you going to do to differentiate yourself? I mean, like I said before, I mean, it's easy to go out and hit. Go out and long toss, throw, field. I mean, everyone wants to do that, but what are you doing? What are you doing, in addition to that? Because you get into college, you've got your studies, you've got your baseball, and then you got the strength and conditioning piece. And I think that tends to get neglected early on. So,
It's
for me, that's
so true. So true, coach. And I think one of the things, it's not necessarily just getting the weight room. It's building some disciplines young, right? Getting the weight room is not always easy. And the older you wait to get into the weight room, the more difficult it becomes a routine. And I think that it's easy, like you said, to go to the batting cages. That's fun. Getting up early in the morning and having to do strength and conditioning. If you start early, it makes it part of your daily routine, and all of a sudden it becomes part of what you're doing. Because I hear that a lot with coaches. It's the kids that are coming in from high school into college, man. It is night and day, right? It's boys and then men. But you bring up a great point, man. It's real tough for high school players to make it into the starting lineup for collegiate. From your perspective, I know you're new at this program. Are you looking? And D3 is a little bit different. There's not scholarship money, but it's typically pretty smart guys, right? The D3s are academic focused. A lot of really quality academics coming out of these D3 programs. Are you looking? From a high school, is it a blend? Are you leveraging the transfer portal? Talk a little bit about how you do it and your recruiting coordinator, and how you're going to be building your program at Roanoke.
Yeah, so we have this conversation with recruits, with parents, our staff. I mean, we're not going to build a team or a locker room in the portal. I think for us, our identity has to be going after the best high school baseball players we can.
It's good.
I love junior college guys. We've got, a couple that we've got offers out to now. And I think if you can blend your class, mainly I'd say like 60-70% high school players. And then if you can mix in a 20-30%, junior college guy, I think it helps kind of ease the transition to some of those younger guys, especially on the mound. If you've got a more experienced guy on the mound, it's a little easier to throw them into the fire versus just a true freshman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for us, I tell our assistants, and I do the same thing. Like I don't really care if the kid's getting calls from Tech or Radford or University of Florida, or we're gonna go after them until they tell us no. So I don't because I think it's easy to do again at our level to just he's too good for us or this or that, and
Right.
you never know. Especially now, I mean, there's guys that have been on campus that you're just like, how have you not gotten money somewhere. So, yeah, I mean, it's high school baseball. We do mostly state of Virginia, North Carolina. We've got some Pennsylvania. Again, but between those, Virginia, North Carolina, for the most part, it's where guys are coming from. So
Good. No, you know what? It's I tell people all the time, if you get somebody that's interested, don't turn them down. You got to keep that going. I think it was Sheets and I were talking the other day, and I said it's like selling your home. The first guy that's interested is usually the guy that's going to be buying your home.
right.
And so if there's a school that's interested in you, man, as a player, as a parent, man, do not discount anyone. Division III, Division II, you made a great point. The quality and the level of play is just continuing to go up. And I think the squeeze is coming obviously from the top, coming down, right? There's less spots at the minor league. So less kids are leaving school early to go and be drafted. And then also the tightening of the actual roster. And then it's just everybody's bigger, stronger, and faster. I mean, the quality of play, I tell everybody at any time, I don't care who you are, go find a college game. It could be it could be a community college. It can be NAIA, Division III, Division I. It doesn't matter. You're going to go, wow, that's some pretty good talent there. Coach, you mentioned some of the states that you're looking for, and Coach Kaminski, one of the newest members of the Baseball Bluebook app, and I always ask coaches, "Are you in the book?" And certainly, Coach, you are, and I appreciate that. All of his contact information is in and available in the app. You can download it for free. Also, information on Roanoke College, so you can link directly to that. Find the academic components, the costs, there's recruiting forms. Everything you need to know about the program is there, Coach. Other than going to the high schools, and you mentioned earlier talking to the coaches directly, the high school coaches, and really understanding it. I know you got some events that are coming up, and it's something that you guys do as a college. Talk a bit about just in general having these college events that, and I see a lot of coaches and colleges doing this. Talk a bit about that and what you use those for from a recruiting perspective.
Yeah, so I think the camp stuff is starting to really blow up even more at the higher levels
Yeah,
because you start talking about, a brief stint at Radford. You can't blow up at when I was there. You can't be talking to 26s, 27s before a certain date,
yeah,
but you can correspond with somebody with camps. So you have your list. You had your list of 2026s, 27s, what the guys that you've seen along the way that you're a year or two away from recruiting, really bringing them on campus for a formal visit, everything like that. And the NCAA at that level, you can't do it. You can't say, hey man, come visit campus. We want you. We want to offer you. All that stuff's kind of coming to a halt, right?
yep,
Guys are
yep,
having to wait to a certain age. Or part of their until the junior year of high school. So I think it gives the Division I schools an opportunity to contact. The advantage for us is if we wanted to. Now we don't do this, but I mean, if we really wanted to talk to a 27 or a 28, high school freshman or sophomore, junior, we can do it at any time. There's no restrictions for us. So I mean, that is the plus. But the camps allow you to get guys on campus that one you might not normally see,
yeah,
and two, they have some sort of interest in your program. And we've got an individual from down in North Carolina. We had no idea who he was. Just hadn't seen him for whatever reason. Just didn't get a chance to see him. And he showed up to a camp, this past fall, and we made it work. And he's committed. So those are the success stories. And I think we tell the guys that come to our camps, at the very least, we want you to walk away with something that you haven't heard about. Whether it's you're learning about something part of your game, defensively, offensively, whatever it is. Give you a feel for some things that you can take back to your high school team or your travel team that you didn't know, and just can it give you a feel for what it's like just to be at the college level for in our program and any other program. I think that's what the camps allow you to do, and I think it's a win-win. That's why we try not to charge too much, to try to attract the best guys that we can, and again, it gives the coaches an opportunity to see guys that you might not have already on your list. So it's
no,
good
that's
good stuff.
I think that's fantastic, and the thing I always encourage kids to do it because it's really truly being proactive. I mean, going to the place of where you're going. You make your list. Maybe it's the state that you're interested in playing. Maybe it's a list of the colleges, and then go find those camps. I mean, what a great opportunity for not only for you to take a look at the campus, the environment, talk with the coaches that will be leading you. It's just an opportunity to really do a better job from the parents and the players' perspective. But then also the coaches, certainly what a great opportunity, I think. To me, it's amazing that it's taken this long to really blow up. I think I love that we're moving in that direction because these college camps are for a phenomenal, like you said, maybe take a few things back with them to their high school programs because the coaches at the collegiate level, man, they are top notch. So, Coach, I appreciate that. Hey, last and but not least. Talk about Roanoke. You're new there, so what was the things that made you go, "Wow, this is a great place to kind of put our roots in"? At the D3 level, a lot of times kids are looking at it for a 4-year program, right? They're looking for something to build a career, and then something that they're going to be with for the length of their life, right? It's not a 4-year
Sure.
commitment; it's more of a 40-year commitment. Talk a bit about what you love about Roanoke and what kids and parents would absolutely appreciate hearing from the coach.
Yeah, I mean, just having familiar again was in the league for the last 3 years, and just not wins loss wise, not where we wanted to be. quite frankly, because on the recruiting trail you weren't getting the guys that you really wanted. And one of the programs that's been at the top of the conference for a number of years is Roanoke College. And what attracted me to this position, what attracts me to Roanoke College in general, is that you can truly recruit the best players in the state. I don't care what level they're at. You know what you got borderline Division I guys, Division II guys, and that's top to bottom in this conference. I mean, you've got teams in our conference with really really good players, and I think it starts with the administration here. We have a lot of support with facilities, with and admissions and financial aid. I mean, I think you're fooling yourself if you think that you can do it. Again, you can't do it on your own. You're only as good as what you can sell as far as your campus, and we're very fortunate. Our home ballpark is the single A affiliate of the Red Sox. So we play here in Salem. It's about a mile from our campus. We've got our own locker room down there, athletic training room, and very, very good. Our own grounds crew. So our guys don't, our guys, I always say our guys are spoiled. They don't have to pick up a rake. So I think we're pulling a tarp every once in a while. That's about it. But, and then just like academically, very, very strong academics. I think when you have the facilities, the academics, it fits you socially. I mean, you're in Roanoke, Virginia, which by no means is a huge city, but you got a little bit of a city feel mixed in with, some small town vibes as well. I mean, Salem, Virginia is technically the city we're in. It's a great small town, small campus environment, but it doesn't feel small. It feels like there's a lot going on. Our president, they just added, we added football, marching band, cheerleading, which just added this past year. So, I mean, there's at a football game this past fall, there's 11,000 people in the stands. So it's become just it's awesome from the top down. I think, bringing back football and having the band, the cheerleaders, and the sports are successful as it is. I mean, it's only, it's only going in the right direction. It's going up. So, Salem loves its baseball. It's a big football town, big high school football here. So, I mean, the football is really, guys are coming out, to have 10, 11,000 people at a football game. It was crazy. So
pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And it does make the program, right? I mean, baseball is why you're going, but man, to have that academic and the athletic component, the football, there's just something about that Saturdays and bringing the whole town together. I'm a huge fan of the smaller, mid-sized towns that can really bring and rally the towns around the support of the programs. Coach, it's been an honor talking to you, man. Congratulations on landing. It sounds like just a really great fit for you. Again, you can find all the information on Coach Kaminski in the Baseball Bluebook app. Download it for free today. Build out your profile. Check out Roanoke College. We will be posting this and a whole lot of other episodes coming your way in the next few weeks. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Go Note.